Hello. So there's a calculator. If you do not have a TI-84 or 83 calculator and you want to use one, there is one that's really nice on the computer. It has a 90-day free trial. It's called TI SmartView TI-84 Plus. And that's what I'm going to show you today. When you're using it, looks just like the TI-84 calculator. Let's clear the screen. Okay. First thing you want to know is about a list. You can edit a list. So if we hit enter, I already have a list in there. So you can just hit the delete button and it'll delete one at a time. But when it's a long list, we can go back to the list and notice down here it has clear list. And so we can clear the list. And then you have to put what list you want to clear. Well, notice the blue letters down here. L1, L2, L3, we want list 1. So we hit second and list 1, and then hit enter, and it'll clear the list. So now if we go into that list, it's clear. Whoops. It's clear. Now when you're entering them, you can enter them here, or you can type them from your keyboard. Sorry. Tanista. So you have your list here. Now, once you get that list, there's different things you can do. If you wanted to find the mean and the standard deviation, you back into stats and notice there's CALC. If we go over one to CALC, then there's a lot of things we can do. We can do variable statistics, add an X and a Y. If you need a linear regression line, it's right here. The reason there's two is this one just has the slope as A and the y-intercept is B, where this one's the opposite. A is the y-intercept and B is the slope. They're the exact same thing. And then there's cubic equations, quadratic. But the main thing we'll be using is variable statistics. If you have only one list, you use the first one. If you're doing two separate pieces of data, you'd use the second one. To use it, first you click on it and hit enter. Then you put what list it's on. Go down to calculate and hit enter. Now it has the mean. This is the numbers added together. This is square all the numbers and add them together. The next two are standard deviations. The first one's a sample standard deviation and the second one is a population standard deviation. The difference is what you're dividing by. This one you divide by n minus 1 and this one you divide by n. This is sample size. And then the next group of data, this is from the min down. This is your 5-number summary. When you're doing a box plot, box and whiskers with the quartiles, this is your smallest number, your lower quartile, your median, your largest upper quartile, and your largest number. And so that gives you your 5-number summary. That was under stats. That would do whichever two lists you mark, it'll do both lists with the same amount of data. The next thing this does is tests. It'll do a Z test, a T test, 2-sample test, proportions, confidence intervals, and there's more as you go down. The main thing you want to remember for Z and T tests, it is not just sample size. Yes, when it is greater than or equal to 30, it does usually follow a normal curve, and the Z test is usually used. But if you are given a sample standard deviation, you use T. If you are given a population standard deviation, you use Z. So be careful of that. It doesn't just go by sample size. Now when we're doing one, let's assume we're doing a Z test. Enter. Now you can use data. So if you had a list of data, you don't have to find the mean and the standard deviation. You could use, or you can type it in yourself. A lot of the problems don't give the whole list of data. They just give the statistics. So if we say that the mean is 24 with a standard deviation of 2, and let's say our sample, we got a mean of 31. And our sample size was only 6, which is kind of small. Well, we'll make it bigger. That's too small. Let's say our sample size was 79. Now, if we're testing the not equal to, we would use this one, less than this one, or greater than this one. So it depends on which one you're testing. You would click on that. And then just down to calculate. And hit enter. Here's our test. It's tested not equal to, our z value was 31, our p value was 0. That gives you your test. The confidence interval is similar. Go down to confidence interval. Whoops, what too many. Statistics or data, whichever you have. Standard deviation 1.2 or 0.2. Mean 31, sample size 79. Now the confidence interval. Confidence intervals are usually 90, 95, or 99. You could have other values, but those are the normal ones. Whatever it is, and then hit enter. And it gives you a confidence interval. And so it's a nice way of working them out. If you have any questions, let me know.